What's up, everyone? We are back. Track A had their difficulties, and Track B just had their difficulties now. I'm pretty sure Track B's downtime was less than Track A's, so we're gonna take that as a badge. We got Doug Gieck coming in, and I am very excited about this one. So I'm glad we got it figured out. Doug, I'm gonna bring you on. What's up, Doug? We got you on mute. I hear you now. How's it going?
What's happening, everybody? I'm good. Hanging out in Colorado, selling real estate.
I think everything just got way too excited to have you come onto this. And, you guys do such massive transaction volume that I think it just crapped out our system for a sec. So
I broke the internet. All right.
You did. You broke the internet, Doug.
Good stuff.
You guys are there in Colorado. Give us a little background for those of us that don't know 8Z and what you guys do.
For sure. So we're an independent brokerage, long history in real estate. You know, our CEO has been on the brink of tech and real estate for 20 plus years. He was a founder at Zip Realty, which was, one of the first to do IDX and actually put listings on the web, which was highly controversial then, but obviously is standard practice now. Moved back to Colorado, was under Remax, had a good run there. We started a website that before Zillow showed up, it was the most highly trafficked website in Colorado. Fast forward to 2009 and 2010, we started 8Z Real Estate, and it's been a great run. We started with about 30 agents, and now we are, we're at 187 as of this morning, and we just crossed $1 billion for the third year in a row on volume. And transaction-wise, as I pull up my CSU, we just went over 2,000 transactions on the year, 2042 to be exact. So it's been a strong run, and we're not stopping here. We got big, lofty goals here in the future.
By the way, Doug, I could see those CSU dashboards real quick.
You want me to share my screen?
Are you game with that?
Yeah, I can certainly do that. Let's see here.
Have a little screen share and then give you the option. I don't know if I know what $1 billion with a B looks like in our system yet, so that's part of why I want to bring this on.
All right, are we seeing my screen?
Yeah, we're seeing it.
Right on. So there's our close to this year. Our buy-sell mix month to date, we're at 57 transactions already, the 7th, but we're projected to go to 327, which would be a record for us in October.
Really? Yeah, I'd see that.
Volume 150 mil or 161 on the projected. That'd be our 4th month over 150, and right there you can see 1.2 billion. That's actually what we closed out last year, so we're hoping to beat that by a little bit this year, and obviously we've got a few months left to do it. So there it is, folks.
I love it. I had to see that, and one of the things I think is cool, you guys are huge, but you've scaled very well. So you're definitely a brokerage, but you maintain a high per agent, productivity. And in a lot of ways, people would say, okay, well, they do a lot of things that brokerages typically struggle with that teams are better at. 8Z kind of does it all, right? And what we wanted to talk about today was that and how you're looking to scale. What did you say your goal was? 30 sides an agent in 2021?
We're going to average 30 transactions per agent by 2022. So we've got a little bit of time. We're at 22.08 in 2019. Anxious to see how 2020 shakes out. Was a little worried. Been an interesting year, but I think things are going to shake out pretty well by the end of this year. But obviously, we've got to do a lot of things well for that to happen. We have to create a ton of efficiencies, and you said it, Zach. Our mindset is to operate like the highest efficiency teams. I'm in a lot of real estate circles where you see these super high efficiency teams, 40, 50 transactions per agent, and that's per license. Like, I want to be clear, we don't mess with that. That is individual agent needs to do their average 30. So some will be doing 25, some will be doing 50. But you got to operate at a really high level, like you see those teams do it, and then figure out how you scale that.
Yep. So what do you think that is? I mean, for you guys, is it training? Is it, the structure and hierarchy of how your brokerage is the foundation of it? What are some of those factors?
It's certainly a combo of all that stuff. I mean, it starts with that mentality, right? Like that is our mindset that we do not make decisions that aren't going to allow us to help our create efficiencies and allow our agents to get to that 30 transactions per year. But I think the biggest factors for me is who's on your bus, right? So it's picking the right people and then arming them. So training, absolutely. But furthermore, supporting them in their business. I think one of the biggest mistakes that's made in real estate is, hey, you joined my team, best of luck. Like, here's a bunch of tools and stuff you can work with, and let's see how you do. Like, that just doesn't do it for me. Like, you need to set goals for your people. Furthermore, they need to set goals for themselves, but you have to measure against those goals and be accountable to those goals and move the needle based on how that's going, on at least a monthly basis, if not more. So those are my kind of keys to how you get that done.
Yeah, I think a lot of solo agents alone and teams of 4 in very small organizations, they struggle to get that kind of monthly performance data even, right? You start talking, okay, I want daily performance data so I can coach on a daily basis, right? And that's obviously maybe talk a little bit here about the old system you guys had, the move to Sisu, because I think that could be really valuable to talk about.
Absolutely. I'll start with you can't change anything that you don't measure. So if you're not measuring it, you might be a really good realtor. You might be an awesome realtor, and you're awesome at transacting and helping people buy and sell. But you ultimately want to become a business owner, not just an agent. So you have to measure your key performance indicators to get to there. And we always have. And quite frankly, when in 2009, there wasn't $4 billion in tech money coming into the industry, but we knew we wanted to measure things. So we built a simple system. Well, I say simple, it was pretty complex actually. And
Pretty impressive.
why we switched because it broke. But it was a system that took all the data in and pumped out our KPIs on a monthly, it was actually real time. It would update every 15 minutes.
Right.
To let agents know where they were at. And then we would coach to our agents, different levels of coaching, whether it was an actual coach, team leader, beyond myself, would coach them at different times, whether it be quarterly, monthly, or on a weekly basis, to let them know where they're at, burst their goals. Do their goals need adjusted? What can they change to get to their goals? All that stuff. So, fast forward to about a year ago, Zach, I think that's when you and I started talking. It was like, okay, I've got this old antiquated system. I can't move it fast. I can't measure the new things that I want to measure. I'm going to have to spend probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in development to get it to where I want it. And you're like, well, I've got this product right here off the shelf that does all that for you. Furthermore, I've got a development team. Tell me what you want to measure. We'll measure it. Mm-hmm. And that's where we are today. And honestly, my CEO, again, been in tech and real estate for 20 plus years. And he said Sisu is the best thing since Netflix and the TiVo before that. It's changed our business. We're so much forward. We were really forward thinking and forward measuring before, but it's at a whole new level with Sisu. And we're moving faster than we ever have at 180 agents, at 14 different teams. We're doing things that, quite frankly, I didn't know if they were possible. And that's thanks to finding a system that aligns with our goals and helps us measure what we want to measure quickly.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, 8Z growing from wherever you were at in 2009 to, basically world domination here in 2020, 2021, right? But that took probably hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in analytics and numbers and KPIs, because that's what takes you from, a good salesperson to a business owner and really an entrepreneur, right? Is really knowing those numbers. And it paid off, right? Put Sisu out of the equation. The old system worked and it paid off, and it gave you guys a lot of what you needed to do to grow, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. You're talking about, data collection and making sure your data is good is one thing, because you can't measure against, half measures. You can't take data that isn't good. So it's all about how are you collecting your data, and then furthermore, how are you going to display it? How are you going to show it? How are you going to coach to it and use it, leverage it to make your teams better, um, and and that in itself took hundreds of thousands, employees, developers, people that write code, all that stuff. And I can leverage Sisu, save thousands of dollars, and do it better than I was doing it. So to say that 2019, 2020 has been a pretty good year, even with everything we've dealt with, would be an understatement.
Yeah. Cool. I love it, man. So going back to this, you have a pretty impressive per agent production already, right? In 2022, you're going 30 per license with, what do you be, probably 200 agents, somewhere around there or more, maybe.
Yeah, in the ballpark.
What, what's the game plan there? I mean, maybe you're still putting that together, but is it scaling more what you're doing? Do you have something or some, place you want to get maybe with your systems?
Yeah, it's funny, right? Because 2022 is just around the corner. So I'll start with the team first, right? We've been developing and building this team, but I'd say we're kind of in. I'll use a baseball analogy since it's the playoffs, but we're kind of in spring training mode. We need to really lock in, because I don't, I'm not here to argue which real estate. Business model is best, but I don't care about how many people I have in the seats. I care about having the right people in the seats. So it's all about culling the herd and getting this super high performance team dialed in, and holding them accountable to measures. We have minimum standards in place. If you don't do 10 transactions at 8Z in a calendar year, you don't stay at 8Z. We find a better home for you. So I'd say it's dialing in that team first. And then
one thing
go
there,
ahead.
if you do
Yeah.
hit those numbers, certain things happen, right? Year over year, you hit your numbers consistently, you actually grow with brokerage, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you can find somebody that meets your minimum standards, what I've found and what you will find if you measure it is that they will grow progressively, and some of them will go from 10 to 30 in 1 year, but the more natural progression is 10, 15, 20, 25. Obviously not in that exact amount, but you find somebody that can do the job and can hit that minimum standard, and good things happen.
Very cool. So when you talk about team and putting the right people in place, there's agents, who become team leaders, and there's administrative staff as well, like yourself, right? You're obviously a key part of that. What should people be looking at there as far as maybe the agent side and the admin side?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to use a trigger word in culture, and it's so tough because I hate. Yeah, we have a culture and we have our core values up on our wall, but does your culture actually live? Do you make decisions by your culture? And a lot of times people dissect culture and performance. Performance is part of our culture. High performance is a part of our culture. So as we're measuring agents on their KPIs, we're measuring every single support staff. I have my own KPIs that I have to answer to, right? Mm-hmm. So you need to really be clear about where you want to go and what you want to do. If you haven't read it, get some Jim Collins Kool-Aid going, get some Good to Great and Built to Last in your back pocket, and then really understand who you want to be and how you're going to get there, and then measure towards that so you can move the needle. Those are the really key components. And then, if I come back to real estate and come back to all of this technology that's thrown at us and what you do and decide to use and not use and so on and so forth, like, what question do you always want to answer? For me, it's how do I create more time for my agents to be in sales? Internet lead gen is a really important part of our business. For example, I leverage ISAs, so my agents are out transacting, not prospecting.
Yep.
They're going to prospect their sphere, but I have a whole system in place to help them prospect their sphere, to leverage them to have more sales time, because the only way we're going to move the needle is to Allow them more time. How can I cut down the time they spend from under contract to closing with transaction management? How can I spend the time for prospecting with an ISA team or leveraging a technology that helps with an ISA team? How can I give them real-time goals and help them measure to that and make that efficient, so it's not something that they think about, it's there as a tool they can have at the tip of their fingers and look at whenever they need it. Sisu, right? Like, there's so many examples of how you do this when there's a business, and it's literally, how do I save hours? How do I save minutes to help when I have an elite team in place? It's only going to help them sell more real estate. Mm-hmm. Furthermore, it's paradoxical to them because they're going to do it more efficiently and feel like they're working less when they're actually doing more production.
I love it. And I think that's a great mentality that any team leader or director of ops or, you name it, when you're on the administrative side of things, that's, I think, in a lot of ways, the biggest value you can add for your team. So,
yeah, I mean, I'll knock on wood, but retention's not an issue for us right now. It really hasn't been historically because that is perceived as value, and it is value, and they'll never leave you if you are creating, all these efficiencies for them. And furthermore, it's invaluable to them from a what you charge them standpoint. So, it's a win-win. It's definitely a twofer.
Cool. Doug, a couple other things, just knowing 8Z and the way y'all operate. Maybe talk a little bit about what you measure with your agents, because you have a kind of a unique set of KPIs that you actually measure that I think have played into your success.
For sure. So obviously transactions and volume are paramount. We measure average commission. I want, you can get a raise. Like, don't put yourself, if you're not a discount broker, don't play that game. Like, earn your commission, move the needle on your commissions, give yourself an automatic raise.
That's the easiest way. If I, as an agent, am worried about either my split or I'm worried about the amount of commission I'm getting, well, are you getting a full percent? Because there are ways that can be trained. There are scripts you can use there to make sure you're getting that full commission. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're a tier structure. So our agents are they're on a tier of 60-40 all the way up to 80-20. How do you get to your next tier? What tier are you at, and how are you going to get to that next level? And it's all predicated upon their volume. So those are measured in conjunction. But that's a really important measurement for them. And then we have partners. So it's important in any broker owners out there right now. Well, this should speak volumes to them.
That's what I wanted to get to, because this is cool.
This is a low margin business. So how do you create better margins? Well, when you are a high producing team, which I think most Sisu users are, in my experience, people that are using Sisu are good at selling real estate. How can you create other revenue streams? How can you create a mortgage revenue stream, title revenue stream, insurance revenue stream, rentals a revenue stream, and then help your agents, because all that stuff will feed the animal and allow you to do more for your agents and create more efficiencies, and then measure that. How it's, you have a mortgage partner, but what's your conversion ratio with that mortgage partner? How many buy-side deals are they getting the mortgage on, really? Like, be real with yourself and challenge your agents and yourself to move the needle on that and get more capture, so that you can add more fuel to the fire and do more things. That's another thing we measure. Now I'm going to jump over to my Sisu, Zach, and see which ones I'm missing. As far as real KPIs, obviously buy-sell mix, that's a huge one. And we don't have buyer's agent specialists or listing specialists. All of our agents can do their own. But that's something that we really measure. And I'm just going to, pull up a dashboard. Hopefully I'll pick one that I know is doing really well. So Dan, a little background on Dan. Dan is not only, he's a team leader, he's a coach within the organization, and he performs with his own personal business. So he's got a lot going on. And so it's a really important person for me to create efficiencies for. My dates are a little off, but this is good enough because I can see, under contracts are huge, but here you can see some of the things we really measure upon. Open houses, that goes without saying. In-person real estate reviews. I firmly believe this business is all about growing your database. So I want to know how many people are in a database, and I set the bar at 200 being the bare minimum. But after you have your database, how many personal, I look at real estate agents as a financial planner. You are helping people with their real estate portfolio. So one thing we always do is real estate reviews to help. These are drivers, and all it is an assessment of somebody's portfolio one time a year. But these are gold. If I had one tool that I would pick for my agents, that's it. You can see just some of the things we measure here. They're not out of the realm of things that you guys measure. Some of them are personal. Are you doing your affirmations? Are you doing your gratitudes? Dan's a little behind. I know he's done like 10 transactions for the last 2 months. So, and that's what this is measuring. So it might not look great for him, but that's the type of things that we know help agents get to where they want to be.
Yep.
Those are our KPIs.
I love it. And the partner side is so cool that you guys do too, because it just gives you more room to play. It gives you more room to whether that's offering splits or whether that's just, maybe you're negative on a lead source, but because you're capturing mortgage, you're actually positive on it. You get what I'm saying? So it
completely changes the metrics on lead sources, because if you're getting mortgage as well, and you own part of that, I'll just say the economics are fruitful, and it completely changes in how you can leverage your money to get more leads into your system and build databases even more.
Yeah. Well, cool, Doug. I appreciate you hopping on. Anything else you want to leave us with before we hop off and hop on to our next guest?
If you're not using CISO already, use it, because you need to measure your business for it to truly be a business. Guys, I'm an open book. You can find me on 8z.com. If you have any questions, CISO related or otherwise, I'm happy to talk to you about it. I love this stuff. I'm passionate about it. But use this system. It will change your business. I know this is a shameless plug, but it's true. You guys have helped us.
I'm not even paying you for that.
But we dug, COVID dug a $150 million hole at 8Z. And Sisu is a direct reason why we're way past that hole and back on track to meet our original business plan at the beginning of the year. We like literally digitally rolled that thing up and threw it in the trash. I had to go find it because we're back on track. And that wouldn't have been possible without Sisu. So, guys, set goals, measure against them, use this system to help your team get better and know what their goals are and where they're at against them and what they need to change to get there. That's it.
Man, thanks for hopping on. I love seeing that billion with a B on your dashboards. And we're going to take a quick 2 or 3 minute break here. And then we'll bring Mike Novak on, who there's been a lot of hype around this presentation he did a little while back about the showing partner model. We're going to go deep in that. Give us just a few minutes and we'll be live back here on the stream. Thanks, Doug. We'll see you.